So today we're working on word problems. This is chapter 8, section 4. For the age problems and for number 13 through 16, you're going to want to use some of these methods. The other problems are pretty much straight translation, but I'd like you to be able to utilize the box because we're going to build on this. Now for our age problems, I'm just really using it to organize our information that's given. So take a minute, write the word problem down and the 2x2 box. What am I comparing in this word problem? Natalia?
Jan and Barbara.
Jan and Barbara. So I'm going to write that here. Jan and Barb. Okay, in addition to them, to the two people, I'm comparing their age. So in one respect, I'm comparing them, and the other, it's talking about, actually, it's not their age. So we're comparing Jan and Barb's age, but we're also looking at different time periods. We're talking about now and when. Yes? In 4 years or the future. So I always label it. All right. So what do we call Jan in math? Yep. I don't want to use X because I want you to know what it means when we find it. Yes. J. We're going to call Jan J. Now, my PowerPoint does use X and Y. I wouldn't mark you down for it, but these are going to get more confusing, and I want you to know what you have when you have it. Does it make sense? So I don't want you to go, oh, X is Jan. No, I'm sorry, it's Barb. When you have J equals, you know it stands for Jan. Okay, what are we going to call Jan in, it says, 4 years? What is her algebraic name in 4 years? Omar.
J plus 4.
Good. So if her name now is J and her future it's J plus 4, what about Barb? What are we calling her now? Everybody.
B.
And what will her name be in 4 years?
B plus 4.
Good. All right. So now we're ready to start translating. All I've done is use these boxes, and I want you to be able to use these boxes to organize information. What do I put down when I see the word Jan? J. And then is 16 older than Barb? No, because there is a than there. Older than. What does it do to our terms? Amanda. And so what's it going to be? B plus 16. In 4 years. Now what age am I going to use for them? Okay, how's this going to look? In 4 years. The sum of their ages will be 50. Yes.
So it'll be J plus B plus 4.
J plus what?
Oh, 4.
4. So that's Jan in the future. Keep going.
Equals.
J plus 4 equals? In 4 years, the sum of their ages. There's Jan's age in 4 years.
Plus B plus 4.
Plus B plus 4. Keep going. The sum of their ages will be 50.
Equals 50.
Perfect. Okay. So now what do you think I do? If there's Jan, here's Barb. What do you think we do next, Evan?
You plug in B plus
We don't plug in math. Thank you. What am I substituting?
J.
Yep. So I'm going to get B plus 16 plus 4 plus B plus 4 equals 50. So I'm going to be adding 16 and 4 is 20 plus 4 is 24. And then I've got 1B, 2 B's, 2 B's plus 24. Now we are subtracting 24, subtract 24, 2 B's equals 26, divided by 2. And B is equal to 13. So if B equals 13, and look where I put this. I'm substituting 13 right here in that box. Now, what do I have to do to find Jan's age?
Substitute 13 into J B plus this.
Okay, so I'm substituting in, and J is equal to 29. In my answer column, you're going to say Jan. Oops, not Jam. Jan is 29. Barb is 13. Questions? All right, can I pause it? It's your turn to practice. Moving on, and you're practicing. So now you try the next one. Now this time I don't know necessarily that you have to write down the question. It may help. You're noticing that they're using X and Y. I really like you to use the variables of the unknown, so you know what you have when you get 13. Okay. I would like you to make the box, and I'd like you to, let's go, take 2 minutes and see if you can translate it and solve it. All right. So let's go, Carolyn. What am I going to label on the left side?
Mary and Sarah.
Good, Mary. And we're going to have Sarah. Okay, what about the top? What are we calling the top column? On top of the first column? Now, and I also like to call this, is this going to be what? Past. And what are we calling Mary? And what are we going to call her 5 years ago? What do you think? Okay, if your age is 10 now, how old were you 5 years ago? So what did you do to the 10? So what are you going to call, this is Carolyn's, what are you going to call Mary's age 5 years ago? Thank you, Mary. Carolyn. M minus 5. Okay, one more time. What are we calling Sarah, Carolyn? No, what are we calling her now? And then 5 years ago? Good. Okay, so first equation. How about Kiana? How do I translate it?
M equals S plus 18.
Yep. M equals S plus 18. Mary is 18, older than Sarah, perfectly translated. Okay, now here we go. Here's where it gets sneaky. 5 years ago, Mary was twice as old as Sarah. Okay, 5 years ago. So for that whole sentence, we're talking about 5 years ago. Eugene. 5 years ago, Mary. I don't want to know that. I want to know the translation for 5 years ago, Mary. 5 years ago, Mary. Natalia?
2S minus
No? 5 years ago, Mary. How do I say that? I'm doing 5 years ago, Mary. I'm doing it in order. Dylan. M minus 5. What does was mean? Is, was, will be, same thing. Equals, okay, M minus 5 equals twice Sarah. Yes? No? Because it started out with Sarah 5 years ago. Yes.
2S minus 5.
Agree or disagree? Disagree. Why? Rebecca? Sorry, Elizabeth?
Because if that's 2 times S minus 5, it should be 2 times the whole equation, which is S minus 5.
The whole expression, S minus 5. 2 times her age 5 years ago, not just part of her age. Okay, so you really need that. Are you guys good? So I have m minus 5 equals 2 times the quantity of s minus 5. Now I'm going to do substitution. And we have s plus 18 minus 5 equals 2s minus 10. Okay, I'm subtracting s, subtracting s. And these two I'm going to combine. So I'll make that 13 equals s minus 10. Add 10, add 10, 23 equals s. Oh, 23. So Sarah is 23. Did you guys get 23?
Yeah.
And what about Mary? Mary equals, how do I figure that out? Yep. 23 plus 18. Mary equals, that's 11. Carry the 1, 2, 3, 4, 41. Mary's 41. And Sarah is 23. Are there any questions? Okay. Can I erase? Okay. Yes. No, I said for the age problems and 13 through 16. The rest of them you should be able to translate. All right, the next kind of problem is called a mixture problem. And in this one, you're writing a table too. And I absolutely want you doing number 13 through 16 with the table, with the boxes. Okay? Now, what am I comparing here? How about Alex?
How many items Joe bought and
Specifically. There's not two people, so I'm not comparing Joe to anybody.
yeah, so how many things he bought? How many things he bought for how many prices?
I want it specifically. What items am I comparing, Blake?
Notebooks and calculators.
Notebooks and calculators. Okay? Now, when you do this, pretty much this is always the same. The first column is going to be a quantity a column. So I always write amount, quantity. Okay? I always write amount. Questions? Now, when we move across, we're going to multiply. So I put the multiplication symbol there. The next thing you're going to do is your unit rate. How much of whatever it is per one. So what units are we talking about? Yes.
How many notebooks?
No, what units do we see? Yes. Come on, guys. What are the units we're dealing with here? Yes.
Money?
Money. So I'm going to just write the money sign. This is units. It's not inches. It's not meters. It's money. So when we move across, I'm going to take the amount times the money, and we are going to get equals a product. Okay? When we go up and down, we're going to add them together, and we will get a sum. So I want you to make another box here, and one more box here. Okay? Are you guys with me? Should I pause it? Okay, do we know how many notebooks there are? Is there 15 notebooks? So what are we going to call it? N. Perfect. Do we know how many calculators? So what are we going to call it? Okay. And what is the total of, yes, 15. I have notebooks plus calculators equals 15. And that's our first sentence, our first equation. Notebooks plus calculators equals 15. Okay, next. What is the unit rate for each notebook? Yep,
$4.50.
4.5. And what is the unit rate for calculators?
$12.
Okay, so now we multiply across. 4.5n. 12c. Okay, so now what is the total amount? So tired. What is the total amount? Charlie.
4.5 plus 12.
No, the total, the thing that goes in the box, the last box.
135.
135. Now, you'll notice that this is in dollars, this is in dollars, and this is in dollars. But 15 is not in dollars, so it goes with the other one. So again, let's just really quickly, it's amount times the money equals the product. And this is always a money statement. Okay, well, it's not always, because what if we're not doing money and we're looking at percents and acids and bases? All right, now the other equation is this. 4, 5, and 450n plus 12c equals 135. Okay, what I hate more than anything well, actually, I think I'll solve this with elimination. And so what would be the easiest term to eliminate?
The 12C.
Yeah, so I'm going to multiply this by negative 12. So I get negative 12n plus, oops, not plus, it's minus 12c equals 12 times 15 is 180, and it's a negative. And now I have my additive inverses. So over here I'm left with 7 and 5/10 n, and here I'm left with negative 45. Okay? Now, what do I really hate? Decimal, so let's clear it. Multiply by 10, and oh, I see I left the negative. Thank you, Evan. So now I'm going to just move it over. It's negative 75n equals negative 450. Divide by negative 75, divide by negative 75, and n is equal to 75 goes into this. I think it's 6. 6. N equals 6. Okay? So I come back to my box and I'm going to say that it's 6. And then I can go back to either original equation. 6 plus c equals 15. Subtract 6, subtract 6. C equals 9. So I bought 9 calculators and 6 notebooks. Questions? All right, let's keep going. Last problem. Ready? Now we're going to practice this. Can I erase? Okay. You'll see they use X and Y, but I like better when you use N and Q. Okay. One more time, I'm giving you the boxes. How do we label the outside to the left? How about Kaylee?
It's amount.
No, to the left. Well, what do I call out here? What are the labels? Before we do anything, cookies and brownies. Okay, now the first column. First column, what am I calling it, Eugene?
The first column, the first column is C.
No, but what do I call it? What's the label? Amount times the rate, which is the money, is equal to what? The product. Okay, the amount is, do we know? So what do we put? C. And for the other one, B. And what's the final amount? Yep. Right here.
$24.
I'm not looking for dollars, I'm looking for quantity. How many? 40, so we bought 40 cookies and brownies. Yep. This is quantity, not how much it costs. Okay, so this is going to be, I'm adding another box. It's 40. Do we know the price per cookie? What is it?
50 cents.
What?
0.5.
Okay, so I do 0.5 C, 0.75 B, and what am I putting in that last box? Evan? Yep. So C plus B equals 40. Okay, pause it and finish it up. Shh. All right, so I'm going to first clear my decimal. What do I have to multiply by? 100, so I get 50C plus 75B equals 2400. Okay, now I can either do, I think I'll do this. Minus B, C equals 40 minus B. And I substitute in. 50 times 40 minus B equals, plus 75B equals 2400. 5 times 4 is 20, and then I have 2 more zeros. Minus 50B plus 75B equals 2400. Subtract 2000. Subtract 2000. We're going to finish. This is 25B equals 400. Divide by 25, and B equals 16. So I had 16 brownies. Now I come back up here. C equals 40 minus 16. Can you see? C equals, what is it, 24? So there are 24 cookies and 16 brownies. Are there any questions? All right. So tonight you're doing the age problems, and number 13 through 16 will work with the boxes. The rest of them you can just translate.